Hello and welcome to Crime Watch Daily Updates. I'm your host, Anna Garcia. True crime is no stranger to murder for hire plots. And the shooting of a Florida State University law professor, Dan Markel, is a prime example of the complex web that these plots often weave. Dan Markel and his wife, Wendi Adelson, finalized their extremely contentious divorce in 2013. A key point in their split was that Wendi wanted to move their kids from Tallahassee to South Florida, but a judge denied the request. So on July 18th of 2014, Dan was pulling into his driveway as he came home from a workout when a man approached him, shot him twice in the head. He was taken to the hospital, but he died the next day. The investigation took a turn in 2016 when evidence traced a gang leader named Luis Rivera and his friend Sigfredo Garcia to Tallahassee that July day. The two were arrested, and Rivera eventually pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. Garcia and Rivera were connected to Markel through a woman named Catherine McBanois. Catherine and Sigfredo Garcia had children together, but she also dated Markel's ex-wife's brother, Charlie Adelson. They were apparently in a relationship the same time that Markel was shot. Rivera testified against Garcia and said Garcia asked him to come with him to kill Markel, who lived 500 miles away in northern Florida, and Catherine apparently gave them the orders. Rivera said Garcia fired the fatal shots, then immediately called Catherine. Catherine was also arrested and charged. She and Garcia stood trial together, and Garcia was convicted of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The jury could not come back on a decision for Catherine, so the judge declared a mistrial for her. She was tried again and convicted of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and solicitation to commit murder. She and Garcia were both sentenced to life in prison without parole in exchange for testifying against Garcia, and Catherine Rivera was sentenced to 19 years in prison. Another twist in the case happened in April of 2022 when FBI agents arrested Charlie Adelson on charges of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and solicitation of murder, thanks to allegedly incriminating evidence caught on tape. He's being held without bond, and his trial is scheduled to begin in 2023. Now, let's look back at this complicated case involving the murder of a renowned law professor.
The driver's side window is all bashed in, and he's got blood all over his head.
A man has been assassinated in broad daylight. 3 people are now under arrest. But are they all just pawns in someone else's game?
He's not responding to me.
Just over a week ago, we brought you breaking news out of Florida of another arrest made in the shocking murder of criminal law professor Dan Markel, gunned down in his own driveway while talking on the phone with a friend.
He didn't send an ambulance in a hurry. He's still alive.
Now there's been another huge break.
We're ready to proceed forward with the case.
As part of a plea deal finalized just days ago.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you are about to give me is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
One of the 2 men arrested for the murder has agreed to tell detectives everything he knows, and we've got the full confession.
We met him right in the garage. Garcia jumps out, goes around the car where he's driving. Dan Markel was on the phone that day. Shot him twice. Got in the car. We left. Kid driving.
That's Luis Rivera, the man seen in this surveillance video driving alleged triggerman Sigfredo Garcia from the hit. He says his involvement began weeks before the actual murder when he was approached by Garcia to join him on a 7-hour drive from Miami to Tallahassee.
My understanding when he was talking to me, first I thought it was going to be like a robbery.
Just a robbery.
What gave you that idea? Why did you think it was going to be a robbery?
I'm a jack boy.
Okay.
I rob drug dealers.
Okay. So he was talking. He was talking in terms of a job in Tallahassee.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm thinking we finna go. Okay, boom. But then he's like, man, it's not that. I'm finna go kill somebody. We're gonna get hired.
As we now know, that somebody was beloved father of 2 young boys and renowned scholar Dan Markel. But just who was the person doing the hiring?
Katie's the one in the middle doing everything. Put it like that.
He's talking about Katie Magbanua.
Good morning.
Seen here just days ago during her very first court appearance.
This is a charge of a first-degree murder capital felony case, so I'm not going to do anything that would change that.
Katie was also charged with Markel's murder after Rivera started talking and after police discovered she is the mother of the accused shooter's 2 children. Plus, in what prosecutors believe is no coincidence, she worked at a dental clinic owned and operated by the victim's in-laws, Harvey Adelson, wife Donna, and son Charlie. More on that connection in a moment.
You'd be best to keep your thoughts to yourself regarding this charge. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
According to Rivera, Katie is the one who reached out to Garcia to do the hit in the first place. But was she really the one pulling the strings?
I asked him, who's hiring him? He like, Katie told me this lady's gonna hire me.
So he's saying Katie is the person between the woman that wants this done. Does he say the woman's name then?
Not at all.
But detectives have to wonder. Shortly after the murder, police zeroed in on who seemed like a logical suspect. Daniel's ex-wife, Wendi Adelson.
He's not going to survive.
Oh my God.
During her interview with detectives, Wendi fully admits she and Markel were embroiled in a nasty divorce and custody battle over their 2 kids, and the rest of her family had gotten involved. According to police records, Dan's in-laws even discussed offering him $1 million to let Wendi take the kids and move.
They had squabbled over, visitation rights, the involvement of her parents. It was pretty bitter.
Wendi also talked about how much her brother Charlie, in particular, disliked Dan.
It was always this joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman and it was cheaper to get you this TV.
Just a joke? It was enough at the time for police to take a hard look at the Adelsons. All denied their involvement and no arrests were ever made. But that was before Luis's confession.
All Katie's for winning.
He says Katie manipulated her baby daddy, Sigfredo Garcia, into doing the crime.
She had him crazy. She'll go cheat on him, and I guess she told him, if you want me back, you gotta go do this. She had him all messed up. She had him all confused.
Confused in particular about Katie's current relationship.
What was Katie doing? I mean, you said she was going to see somebody.
Oh, so you go see the dentist.
Who's the dentist?
That dentist, police allege, was none other than Charlie Adelson. The brother Wendi Adelson once said joked about hiring a hitman. And that's not all. Charlie was also Magbanua's employer and boyfriend at the time of the murder, and the man who not long after the killing helped her purchase brand new breast implants. Suspicious, the Tallahassee Police Department even set up an elaborate sting to see what the Adelsons might know.
You see talking to her now?
That's Wendy's mom, Donna Adelson, being approached by an undercover agent posing as a friend of Garcia's. According to documents, he hands her a paper saying he knows about the hired hit and wants $5,000 to keep quiet. Donna Adelson looks rattled. Cops say within minutes she calls her son Charlie. Police claim Charlie then calls Catherine, and according to a probable cause affidavit, Charlie says, quote, "You better kill him because he's going to be a big problem." And, quote, "If you can't do it, I'll have someone else do it."
She has the paper. They're walking away.
At the time, the Tallahassee Police Department drafted arrest affidavits for Charlie Adelson and his mom, Donna. But state prosecutors didn't approve their arrests, saying they still didn't have enough evidence to link the Adelsons to Dan Markel's death. But again, that was before Rivera started talking, and before detectives heard about this very telling question Rivera says he asked Garcia before the hit.
I asked him, why are you going to kill this guy? Because the lady wants her 2 kids back. She wants full custody of them kids because he had all the custody. That was the plan, that was the deal. That's what I went to go kill that man for.
It seemed as though he could only be talking about one person, but detectives still needed a name, and they were about to get it. Here, Rivera recalls cruising around Markel's neighborhood on the morning of the murder and being spotted by a woman and her 2 kids.
I'm looking to my rearview mirror and I asked Garcia, man, what's up with this lady? Why is she looking so much? He like, oh, that's that lady. That's Wendi.
You drove by, you saw her walking the kids. You ask him, he says that's Wendi. Okay.
That's the conversation.
So it's not a question of if it's Wendi, he already knows it's Wendi.
Oh, he already knows it's Wendi.
If Rivera is telling the truth, as he has officially sworn to do, he just implicated none other than Wendi Adelson, Dan Markel's ex-wife. Because of previous testimony made by Rivera, Katie Magbanua is now behind bars. And with this new confession, the case against Sigfredo Garcia, who has pleaded not guilty to the murder, seems stronger than ever. But could other arrests be right around the corner? After Magbanua's court appearance, State Prosecutor Georgia Kappelman had this to say.
Obviously, you have Mr. Rivera as a witness. What is your hope now?
My hope now is to proceed with the cases I have in front of me, which of course are the one against Mr. Garcia and now Ms. Magbanua.
You still need a link to the family, is what I've seen you quoted as saying.
Yes, if I was to be able to charge a member of the family as being implicated as part of the conspiracy, I think I would require a witness such as possibly Ms. Magbanua.
But you're obviously going to be trying to talk to her, so.
If her lawyer allows me to, I will, but we don't know that yet.
So just what does the near future look like for the people currently behind bars? Or for that matter, the Adelsons?
A jury will have to believe Luis Rivera, and we're going to beat him up pretty good.
If confessed killer Luis Rivera is telling the truth, Dan Markel's own ex-wife, Wendi, may have financed the hit that took his life.
You said before something about you knew that the total amount equaled $100,000 or something.
Yeah, he gave him 37 in total. Then I asked him, how much you getting? He got like 40 something. I told him, we should just go rob her.
But in another surprising reveal, Rivera goes on to say in this taped confession with police that the murder almost didn't happen. He and the accused triggerman, Sigfredo Garcia, almost never even made it to their destination.
I'm in probation, man. If we get pulled over, I'm gonna go to jail. And we get pulled over. Okay. So the day we get pulled over, the officer grabbed my license, came back, gave me a ticket, like, slow down, put your seatbelt. Gave me a speeding ticket. And I'm on my lap. I looked at Garcia and told him, this take me to jail.
So you got a ticket in the Prius on the way up here?
On the way up here.
Rivera says it was enough to make him want to abort.
But when we get pulled over, I tell him, yo, this is a sign, man. We should just turn around. He's like, nah, man, that we up here. So we drove to Tallahassee.
But according to Rivera, the hitmen would get one more chance to reconsider when just a day before the murder, they were driving through town, Garcia allegedly high on cocaine.
Garcia, I don't know what he was playing. I don't know why he was playing with a gun. I don't know what the he was doing. I heard, I'm driving, boom, I'm like, jump. Like, yo, what's up, man? You all right?
Seconds later, that now infamous green Prius stuttered to a stop.
I was just laughing because he's so stupid. I'm like, this is a car. He's like, oh man, I don't know. I said, we don't got no gas. How the hell we don't got no gas? So we stopped. He looked under. He's like, oh, there's a line. I said, you shot the line? Are you serious?
Unfortunately for Dan Markel, the men were able to fix the car and continue on their deadly path. But now, Luis Rivera is telling everything to police. Could his words help prosecutors take down who they believe may be the real masterminds?
All rise and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge J. Lane Smith presiding.
Good morning, everyone. You can take your seats.
In a probable cause affidavit for Catherine Magbanua released to Crime Watch Daily, prosecutors lay out their theory of the murder. After her divorce from Markel, it's alleged Wendi Adelson and her parents, Harvey and Donna Adelson, as well as her brother, Charlie, were determined to relocate Wendi's two Markel children to South Florida. The report goes on to show a series of back-and-forth calls between various members of the Adelsons and Catherine Magbanua in the hours before and after the murder. In addition, the record shows that since Markel's murder, Magbanua's bank account has grown by at least $56,000, mostly in cash deposits. And she got a new car, a used Lexus registered to Harvey Adelson. We reached out to Magbanua's attorney for comment, but got no response. In the affidavit, authorities do say that Wendi was initially cooperative with the police, but that the day after Markel's memorial service in Tallahassee, the entire Adelson clan left with the kids to South Florida, promptly changed the children's last names to Adelson, and haven't spoken to investigators since. Our producers did try to contact Wendi's lawyer, but have yet to receive a reply. So we tracked down accused shooter Sigfredo Garcia's attorney to get the defense's side of the story.
Everyone here is under the assumption that the Adelsons hired Rivera and Sigfredo to commit this murder, okay? Because that's what's sexy. It's always the wife's family.
You don't think the Adelson family would organize a hit on their former son-in-law to have the grandkids closer?
These are dentists. These aren't the Sopranos, okay? They're not gonna go whack a guy for, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
What is the connection then? What is Sigfredo and Luis's connection then to Dan Markel?
I'll tell you in trial.
In addition to those comments, we reached out to Charlie Adelson's attorney, who declined to be interviewed at this time, but who did release this statement to the press regarding Rivera's new plea deal. The prosecution admittedly didn't have enough evidence, so it went out and bought some by giving away the farm to a murderer. 7 years is just offensive. That's not a search for the truth, that's a deal with the devil. And to that, prosecutors don't necessarily disagree.
I'm not necessarily all that pleased with making any kind of deal with a murder suspect, but we've heard it said many, many times before, if you're going to try the devil, you'd have to go to hell to get your witnesses.
Put my hands up, never in my life have killed nobody. I don't beat people with bats here with sticks like that. I wouldn't have enough to shoot somebody for some kids, man.
Now, this witness's testimony could be used to bring down everyone responsible for the cold-blooded murder of Dan Markel. We went to Charlie Adelson's house to get his side of the story. Hey, Charlie, what role did you have in Dan Markel's murder? I hear you. You're talking about, open the door. Let's have a conversation. Oh, you're calling the police? Charlie says he's going to be calling the police on us. Funny thing is, the police may be calling them. And as it so happens, there are small hints that day may be coming soon. In an email released by the prosecutor's office and sent by Dan Markel's mother to State Prosecutor Georgia Kappelman, she seems to think that something that would require Dan Markel's 2 children to be moved from their mother Wendi's house may be happening soon. Dan's mother writes, "We thank you for moving the plea bargaining process forward. As the situation evolves, we need a tight plan for emergency placement due to arrests." Emergency placement of the kids? And just what arrests could she be talking about? To date, no one in the Adelson family has been charged, and lawyers for the family have denied any involvement in Dan's murder.